What up, though? It's your man Dale with another episode. This is a continuation of video part 2 of 3. If you were interested in investing in Bitcoin but fear it might get banned, I give you a couple reasons why this is highly unlikely so you can make an educated decision, one that isn't based on fear. Have you ever wondered how back in the day a few people in a big house were able to control hundreds of slaves in the field? They still use this same technique today. You know slavery never ended, right? It was just opened up to include all races. The first way to keep a slave enslaved is by causing division amongst them. If you keep them fighting amongst each other, they'll never look up and see who's the root of all their problems. Just look at how we've been divided on so many issues. Remember the saying, united we stand, divided we fall. A house divided can't stand. Another way they keep the enslaved in bondage is by instilling fear. Just think about how much fear is in the air now. Where did all of this fear come from? More than likely, people are fearing something that they saw in the media. The media is a tool they use to shape and mold our beliefs and control us. When people fear, they act irrationally and will do whatever to make sure that the thing that they fear has a less likely chance of happening to them. People also fear the unknown. One of the things people fear when it comes to cryptocurrency is the government might ban them. So let me help clarify a few things about cryptocurrencies and why I believe it's very highly unlikely that they will ever be banned. Okay, Bitcoin has a fixed supply of 21 million. It's hard-coded into the program. Every 10 minutes, more Bitcoin is introduced to the world or mined. Currently, 900 new Bitcoin comes into existence every day. Every 4 years, this number is cut in half. So in 2024, there will only be 450 Bitcoin coming into existence each day. This process is known as the halvening, which will continue for the next 100 years until the next 2 million Bitcoin are mined. This scarcity, which is built into the program, is why the price will continue to go up over time. Let me paint a picture for you. There's a hard cap of 21 million Bitcoin, right? There will never be more than 21 million to ever exist. Currently, there are over 56 million millionaires in the world. This means that even if all the Bitcoins were divided equally amongst them all, they would only own around about a third of a Bitcoin. And that number is a little high because it's believed that around 4 million Bitcoin that are lost forever, and the next 2 million haven't even been created yet. So that amount is even smaller for each billionaire. But it's even smaller than that because regular people like you and me own Bitcoin. And there are corporations, institutions, and even countries that own massive amounts of Bitcoin. There's a website, bitcointreasuries.org, where they list all the companies and all the countries that own Bitcoin. One of the things that people are afraid of about Bitcoin is they say that it can be tracked. Now, this is somewhat true. Anybody can view the transactions happening on the blockchain. It's available for everyone to see. Every time a transaction happens, you can see it happening on the blockchain, but you don't know who is behind the transaction. Bitcoin is what's known as pseudo-anonymous, meaning you can see the addresses on the blockchain, but you don't know who those addresses belong to. But the publicly traded companies, they must disclose certain things about their company, and one of those things is what they're doing with their cash reserves. So if they have Bitcoin on their balance sheet, they must report it. The Grayscale Trust owns over 600,000 Bitcoin. MicroStrategy, which is a company run by Michael Saylor, owns over 120,000 Bitcoin. The insurance company, MassMutual, Tesla, countries like El Salvador, Finland, and Ukraine, they all own vast amounts of Bitcoin. I don't think these corporations will be investing all of this money in an asset that was going to be banned. Yet that is what the masses have been led to believe. They want you to be scared because they don't want any competition. They want as much of that 21 million Bitcoin to themselves. Now, let me ask you, have you ever noticed how candidates are always trying to raise money for their campaigns? The reason they do this is because historically, whichever candidate raises the most money typically is the one that wins the presidential race. There was one exception, the Bill Clinton, George Bush Sr. campaign. George Bush actually raised more money than Bill Clinton did, but Ross Perot messed all of the things up. The reason I bring this up is because there's this guy named Sam Bankman-Fried, and he's the CEO of FTX, and he donated the second most money to the Biden presidential campaign in 2020. FTX is a crypto exchange. You may have seen some of their commercials. You know, they ran one during the Super Bowl. Sam also helped finance the campaign of a few Republican senators as well. Rich people donate to political campaigns because they expect favors from their candidate if they win. Knowing this fact, why would Biden do something that would possibly upset and go against his largest contributor? Now can you see why I believe Bitcoin won't be banned? If you were scared to invest in crypto before watching this video, hopefully that fear has subsided a little. There were several more reasons I could have listed, but for the sake of time, I only talked about two. In my humble opinion, fear is what holds many of us back from living the life that we were destined to live. I can speak from experience because I know it personally held me back many times. There are still some fears that I'm working on overcoming right now. One of my main fears is going backwards financially. So I spend countless hours educating myself on different ways to create wealth and sharing what I learned with you. Because I believe if you help enough people get what they want, you can have everything that you want. But moving out of our comfort zones is extremely scary because you're moving into the unknown. That's why so many people choose to live their lives at a level that's lower than their potential. I once heard it said that everything that you want is on the other side of fear. I also remember reading in the Bible, and I had to keep reminding myself of this fact, that God didn't give us the spirit of fear. And if there's any area of my life that there's fear, who am I letting control that area? Who am I putting more trust in? I don't know. That's just something to think about. Again, if you want to see the video in its entirety, you can see it on my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you'll be willing to live a few years of your life how most people won't, you'll be able to live the rest of your life how most people can't. Thanks again for watching, and see you on the next video.